Hi everyone, it's Kute here, sending you love, big love today, wherever you are. Today, in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about love. Let me hear you say love. You know, how do you love someone or you have a crush on someone, or you have a feeling for someone, or you want some connection with someone? How do you love someone, whether it's romantic or it's maybe a friendship, who doesn't love you back, at least love you back in the way that you would want them to love you back? It can be painful when you have a feeling for someone, you have a connection for someone, you've seen them in your dreams, in your visions, in the stars, that you think they're your soulmate, or you just want them to be a certain way, you want them to be your friend, and somehow they don't reciprocate. They don't love you in the way that you would like to be loved. They don't love you in the way that you would dream that they would respond. They're not responding how you would like them to respond. It can be incredibly painful, and it can trigger, you may have been through it, but it can trigger sometimes some really deep wounds. I remember when I was a young kid growing up in London, I was a chubby little kid, and I had a crush on this girl in class, and every day I would sit next to her. I'd sit next to her hoping she would notice me. I'd sit next to her and give her chocolates and give her roses and all sorts of things, and she wouldn't even give me the time of day. It was, you know, for a 6, 7, 8-year-old kid, it was excruciating. So how do you love? And how do you keep your heart open when the person or someone that you love, either romantically or you're friends with, doesn't love you in the way that you'd want them to love, where you're not getting what you would like with that person? It can be hard. Sometimes it's easier just to close your heart, to close down, to say, screw this, I'm just going to shut down. It hurts too much to stay open. In order to really stay open and love, you have to realize one thing. What's important, a couple of things actually. What's important is that you let go of your idea of, you know, who you think that person should be, that you let go of your idea of how you think the relationship with this person should play out. Sometimes we often project our idea of how we think the relationship should be, and we're imposing our expectations on the person in front of us. We're not fully surrendering ourselves and truly allowing the relationship to blossom and be what it is. So firstly, when you're able to let go of your expectation, you're able to let go of your idea, you're able to stop imposing what you think the relationship should be, so that you can surrender yourself to a bigger love. You can surrender yourself to the highest form of the relationship with you and that person that is seeking to happen, rather than what you think should happen between you and that person. It frees you up to truly say to the universe, I surrender. And when you open to that level of surrender, then you allow for the relationship, the highest level of relationship that is meant to blossom between you and that person, to truly blossom. I can't tell you, in my life, there have been moments where I thought the relationship should be a certain way. There's probably people in your lives where, you know, you really wanted to be in a relationship with them. You really wanted them to be the one, to get married, to have children. And maybe years later, you look back and you go, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I thank the universe. I'm so happy that that person, that it didn't work out, that they didn't respond, that they didn't reciprocate. But we often couldn't see it at the time. Often it's looking back in hindsight. So surrender is one of the keys, to truly surrender and say, universe, I surrender to the highest good. I surrender this relationship to the highest good. And I ask that the highest form of the relationship with this person be made manifest. Then you open yourself beyond your own idea, beyond the limitations of your own mind. Secondly, I would say, recognize that if that person is rejecting you, if that person is not responding, sometimes it's easy to take it personally. You know, have you ever had the feeling like, oh my gosh, they're not responding, that must mean I'm not enough? Just because they're not wanting to dive into marriage, or dive into dating you, or dive into a relationship with you, or whatever the level of the relationship might be that you would have kind of figured out and want in your mind, just because they're not responding in the way that you would like, or you expect them to, or want them to, doesn't mean that you are not enough. You are not enough is one of the great illusions that we have been taught, that we have been conditioned into. You are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough, you are not enough. All the way from childhood, and many times based on that preset conditioning, that hypnotic sort of trance that we have been fed and seduced into believing that we are not enough. Many times from that sense of illusory lack, what we often do is go out into the world trying to get certain needs that weren't met, and many times we project onto certain people out there in the world thinking that they are the source, that person is the source, that person is the one, that if we can just get love from that particular person, then we'll be okay. So just know this, that when that person in your life, when they may not respond to you or love you or reciprocate your love back in the way that you would like, it doesn't mean you're not enough. It doesn't mean that you're not important. It doesn't mean that you're not perfect, whole, complete. The reality is that you are. It's a beautiful opportunity to know that for yourself, so do not take it personally. Remember that no one can reject you. No one can reject you. If anything, they're just responding to you based on their own filters, based on their own predispositions, based on their own conditioning. So their rejection of you is not really a rejection of you, it's just their own filtering, perception, interpretation in that moment. You know, I believe that just because two people come together and have a connection, it doesn't mean it needs to equal a relationship. Just because two people come together and have a connection doesn't mean it should equal, you know, a marriage. Doesn't mean you should be dating. You know, and often we make the mistake thinking, wow, I feel so much love for this person. It must mean, when you give that up, what you think it must mean. And as I said, you open to what truly is seeking to happen. And you ask yourself, when you come together in connection with someone, recognizing that anytime you come together in connection with another human being is a sacred moment, is a holy moment, is a truly intimate, magical privilege to be face to face, that you and this person's life at that particular moment in time, whether it's for a day, an hour, a month, a year, a decade, a lifetime, is a privilege. It's not a right that they treat you a certain way. It's not a right that they're in your life, that it's a gift that you get to spend a moment. It's a gift that your souls get to cross in the infinite universe of possibilities that you and that person get to cross in this lifetime is amazing. That alone, to be and revel in the awe and the celebration of that alone, the connection of the souls, is amazing. To really feel that. So if anything beyond that happens, it's a bonus. Then you invoke and you ask. Then you really are available to the highest. The highest. Then you are surrendered to the relationship taking the highest form. The highest form, which allows for the biggest love to unfold between you and this person. So a great question to ask when you're dealing with someone, when you meet someone, is ask yourself, why did I attract this person into my life? Ask yourself, rather than going, it needs to be a certain way and this is how I want it to be with this person, ask yourself, what is my soul seeking to learn through the connection with this person? Ask yourself, what have our souls come together to teach each other? Ask yourself, what is the karma? What are the lessons that we are here to work out together and share with each other? And how can we commit to serving each other's highest evolution and growth? Every single person that you meet in your life, black, white, green, orange, tall, short, no matter how different or how alike to you that they are, is your teacher that is here as a mirror and a reflection, a mirror manifestation of an aspect of yourself that you have called into your life at this particular point in time. When you stop projecting and you allow yourself to receive the mirror as feedback to also where you're at, people that show up in your life, a mirror are amazing manifestations and feedback showing you where you're at in your own consciousness. As you learn those lessons, you receive the gift and the blessing of that person's presence in your life, even if it's not what you think it should be or what you would like it to be. Sometimes it's those people that you never go into a relationship with. Sometimes it's those people that challenge you the most that are actually your greatest blessings. The last thing I'll say is, to keep your heart open even when love isn't being reciprocated by those around you. Maybe it's your lover, maybe it's the object of your affections and someone you have a little crush on. Maybe it's your parent, your family, your mother, your sister, your brother, whoever it is in your life. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to remember this. Remember this, my friends. Remember this, that you are love. Many times we seek love. If they would just give us love, but you are love. Let me hear you say it. I am love. I am. You are big love, my friends. And because of that, it's an opportunity to commit, to really commit to being what you are, which is love. You are big love, so dare to be what you are. And even if that person out there in the world is not reciprocating or loving you back in the way that you want, when you really know that you are big love and your commitment is to love big, just because they don't respond, just because they reject you, just because they say no, just because they're not interested, just because they don't call you back, just because we could just fill in the blanks, is not a reason for you to not keep loving. It's not a reason for you to close your heart and say, because they're not loving me, I'm not going to just close my heart and I'm not going to love anymore. When you are committed to loving, when you are committed to being what you are rather than trying to get what you think you're lacking, then you show up as love, as a way of being in the world, committed to loving those around you, committed to loving that person, those around you, and every single thing as an opportunity to express your heart, as an opportunity to serve, as an opportunity to express who you really are. So as you dare to open your heart and love, no matter what's going on out there with the other person, you make yourself available to also now receiving, you make yourself available to actually receiving that level of love back into your life. So just know, when you love, my friends, when you love, you can't lose. I believe it's only when you don't love that you lose. But it's when you love that you expand. When you love, you develop the muscle. When you love, you become bigger. When you love, you open yourself even more. And no matter what happens out there, whether it's returned, whether the sun doesn't shine, whether they don't respond, whether they reject you, when you open your heart and love, no one can take that away from you. Amazing friends, you are love. I invite you today to commit to loving big, no matter what. Commit to loving big, no matter what happens in the world. And start with the commitment to loving yourself radically, because you are love. And if you're not going to love you, why should anyone else love you? So keep your heart open, even when it's not reciprocated, because you are love itself. Love you lots, everyone. Love now. If you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this blog, I ask that you subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my blog, put your email in, and also share this video with those friends in your life, and I'll be sending you amazing insights, gifts, and videos each week. Love now.